So now let us study the process of urine formation in human. Let us have a recap of this structure of nephron. The first part of the nephron is a cup-like structure that is called Bowman capsule. In this Bowman capsule, a branch of the renal artery is entering and breaking down into a network of capillary, and that is called glomerulus. The wall of Bowman capsule, the wall of glomerulus act like a filter. So whatever is smaller than the pores of this filter will get collected into this space, into this cavity, and this is called filtrate. Bachcho, I am saying filtrate, I am not saying urine, because there are many useful substances present here. Like glucose is there, amino acid is there, sodium salt, potassium salt. These are present there. A large amount of water is there. So these are not waste. They have to be reabsorbed. So the first step occurs here, and this first step is known as the filtration or the ultrafiltration, because there are very minute pores in the wall of capillary, in the wall of Bowman capsule. Now, the next part of this nephron is this PCT. Can you see this highly convoluted tubule? In this, the second step, reabsorption occurs. Reabsorption of glucose, reabsorption of amino acid, almost 100% they are reabsorbed in this area. But still, water is left, salt is there in this filtrate. Water and salt, these are reabsorbed in this pin-shaped structure. This pin-shaped structure is called Henle's loop. And remember, the length of the Henle's loop is related with the reabsorption of water. Longer is the loop, more will be the reabsorption of water. It means camels, they have the longest Henle's loop, and fishes, they are not having any Henle's loop or very small loop. Now almost all the salts and water, they are reabsorbed in this. Now this is coming into this distal convoluted tubule. In distal convoluted tubule, the third step of the urine formation, that is secretion. Here certain toxic substances are secreted like creatinine, urea. They are secreted here. A human being, remember beta, we are ureotelic. The main excretory product in human is urea. Okay, so this urea is also excreted, and these are the collecting duct. In this, urine is collected. This I have given you the notes, so you can check it. How much urine is formed? It depends how much fluid we are intaking. More is the fluid intake, more will be the urine formed. And it also depends how much waste has been collected in the body. Now what would happen after that? When the urine has been formed, it has been collected in the collecting duct. Now from that, it will comes into ureter, from ureter to urinary bladder, and when the bladder is full, then a pressure is created, and then we have an urge to excrete out this urine. The process by which this urine is excreted outside the body, this is known as micturition. Let me show you an animation of this process. See, this is the first part. Just now I have informed you. This is Bowman's capsule. This is glomerulus. So here blood is going to be filtered. See, this and this, both these, they are acting as the filter, and the filtrate is collected here. This is the network of capillary around this, in which reabsorption will occur, because whatever is reabsorbed, it has to go back to the blood. So that is why there are blood capillaries all around this tubular system. Now, what are the things to be reabsorbed? Water, glucose, amino acid, sodium, chloride salts. These need to be reabsorbed. See, this is Henle's loop, distal convoluted tubule. Right? So, Claire, come here. Can you see this network of capillaries? Okay, they are reabsorbing the water and the salt, which is passing through this descending and the ascending limb of the Henle's loop. Distal convoluted tubule. Okay, in this I told you that secretion will occur, that is ammonia, drugs, creatinine. These are excreted in the distal convoluted tubule. After that, we say that urine is formed. Now, this urine is collected here, but still there is a scope for water reabsorption. Do you know, when this is filtered, 180 liter of filtrate is formed in a single day. Out of that, we are passing just 1 to 1.5 liter of the urine. Rest is reabsorbed. Now, this is the section of the urinary bladder. This is shown that this is under the control of our central nervous system. At the entrance, there are gate-like structure. These are called sphincter. Okay, though the urge to pass urine is under our control, this is voluntary action. But if this is full and the wall cannot stretch anymore, then this process become involuntary. Okay, and in that condition, these sphincter will open and urine will come out. All right. So I said, though this is a voluntary action, but if it is full, then this process become involuntary and a reflex is generated in our central nervous system. Now this opening of the urinary bladder, this is known as urethra. So the urine, this comes out through urethra. Now what happened if kidney fail to function? When kidney fail to function, it means the blood is not filtered now. And when the blood is not filtered, the toxic substance will accumulate in the body. And this is going to impact function of each and every organ of the body. So in that condition, blood has to be filtered artificially. This artificial filtration of the blood is known as hemodialysis. In this process, in the process of hemodialysis, the whole blood of the body, when I am saying the whole blood of the body, this doesn't mean that the whole blood is taken out of the body, it is filtered and then it is re-administered in the body. No. Through an artery, a pipe is connected and this pipe is going to artificial kidneys. Artificial kidneys are nothing but filters. And this artificial kidney is having the dialysing medium also, in which the waste product are moving out. In this pipe, an anticoagulant is also given. The temperature is decreased so that infection cannot occur. When the blood is filtered, then through a vein, it is re-administered into the body, but before that, that anticoagulant is removed. Temperature is restored. Now, what is going to be the duration of this hemodialysis? This depends on the working condition of the kidney. Whether that patient require hemodialysis twice a week, once in a week, depends. But the ultimate solution of this problem is only one, that is kidney transplant.